Well, good morning, everybody. Can't believe it's almost the end of July. But I'm excited about today. So this is week number 52, just like 52 weeks and 52 cards in the deck. So this is our weekly financial roundtable. Remember, money's not the most important thing in life, but it is like oxygen on the gotta have it scale. So this has been a place and a community for us to connect on financial related issues and opportunities that affect you, as well as the professional beauty industry. Qnity is the sponsor, the curator of this program, and much of what we do is try to make what's complicated, make it simple, digestible. So there's a clearer path to prosperity, whatever that means for you. So we have this amazing Brain Trust. Hello, members of the Brain Trust that have joined us in the past. There's been so many of you, and it's good to have you join us most weeks. And today I'm super excited because we get to include Robbert as a new member of the Brain Trust. Watch for your light bulb moments today. So again, this week's guest is Robbert of Pivot Point International. Little question for you. See if anybody can guess this, and I doubt it. What do Tom Kuhn, Robbert Passage, and Bill Murray all have in common? We'll get to that in a little bit. All right. Past recordings of this has been in the Plan for Profits portal and now on YouTube. Remember to use the 9 grid to capture your ideas and light bulb moments today. So anyway, without any further ado, I'm going to have Robbert come off mute and we're going to jump right in. Good morning, Robbert.
Good morning, Tom. How are you today?
I'm doing great. So
excited to be here.
We're glad to have you. So Robbert, I learned this later after we met each other, that what we have in common with each other and Bill Murray is we both went to the same high school in suburban Chicago, Loyola. And this is a great opportunity for us to have you join us today. I've been wanting to get you on here forever. And I have so many different things I can say about you, and I will. But first of all, tell us a little bit about Pivot Point. So who is Pivot Point if someone on this call doesn't, which I'd be surprised if people don't know who Pivot Point is, but just give us just a quick outline.
Sure. Well, Pivot Point's been around since 1962, so I imagine most people have heard of it. But we're an education company, and we provide education for the beauty and wellness industries, and have been doing so for a long, long time. People ask me how long I've been involved in the business, and I usually give away my age, 60 years. I think when you're born and raised into a family business, you're around it all the time. I can remember holding my dad's hands, going to trade shows, probably when I was 2 or 3 years old already. So that's pretty typical, I think, of many of your audience who are small family businesses, just like we are. So, yeah.
So in high school, when I was doing what I was doing in the summer, you were going into beauty school Saturdays. And yeah, tell it just real quick on that one.
Yeah, it was a prerequisite. In fact, in order to join the family business, you had to go to beauty school. And, you and I were both raised in Catholic families. And so I went to parochial school. Loyola at the time was an all-boys Catholic high school, Jesuit preparatory school, actually. And I ended up graduating from Loyola University, which is a Jesuit college here in Chicago. So, I could have been a priest, I guess, as much time as I spent, going to a private Catholic school. But it was a great upbringing. A funny little story, when I went to beauty school, in the summertime. And on Saturdays. That was our high school program, and it took me about 2 years to get through the program. And I remember when I graduated, one of my teachers told me, Robbert, I know that you probably will never become a hairdresser, but because of the training that you have, and you have a great personality, I think you could do quite well, at least make some money in college. So don't work at a gas station, don't work waiting tables, do a little hair on the side. And of course I didn't listen to her, and that's what I did the first years, wait tables and pump gas at a gas station back in the day when you still could pump gas. But my second year of college, my roommate and I moved out to a Boy Scout camp of all places. We rented a house on a lake, and I started inviting friends out on the weekends to do their hair. And I did haircuts. Actually, my salon was basically a lake. I stood in the lake with my clients sitting in a bar stool in the water, didn't need a water bottle or a shampoo bottle, just dipped their heads in, made it wet. And I was doing 20, 30 clients on Saturdays and Sundays. And so I made a lot of money on the side. My parents were paying for my college tuition and everything. May not have been the most environmentally friendly thing to do because you didn't have to sweep the hair, kind of all floated away. But that was the extent of my hairdressing career. I think if I had still been standing there, I would have shriveled up by now. But yeah, I did really well. I was differentiating myself. So that was my salon.
That's a great story. Now, you are very active in the beauty industry, and you do a lot of pro bono work. I can't even keep track of all the work that you do and all the different organizations you support. So thank you. A lot of people talk about getting involved in the beauty industry, but you are involved and you're on the front line of a lot of different things. And one of the areas I wanted to explore, a couple areas I wanted to explore with you, and one of them has to do with perception issues and perception issue of beauty professionals. And a critical issue, I think we can agree with this, and I'm very curious to hear in the chat here if, how our participants also feel about this, is critical challenges validating that the beauty and wellness professionals can make a good living compared to their peers. So it's a big issue. And would you agree with that? And tell us why you think it's a big issue and how it affects the whole ecosystem, not just schools, but all the way into salons.
It is an important issue, and I think politicians tend to use figures from the Bureau of Labor Statistics that don't reflect very well on our industry. And I think most of your listeners that are here today know that you can make a very good living, whether it's standing behind the chair or so many other opportunities in beauty and wellness, right? So, our industry is very flexible. It is predominantly female. I see this in our own schools, in our own client schools. We attract a lot of single moms. We attract a lot of minority students. So there are just great opportunities. And I think, for someone that's willing to put in the time, and, it's like anything. Beauty school is maybe a year, so you're not investing 4 years of your life or more in your education. You're in and out of school. My father came from Europe. He was an apprentice, and he always felt that there was a much better way of learning the craft of hairdressing or skin or nails or whatever part of the beauty and wellness industry that you're involved in. And so I think you can quickly get out there on your feet, and within 2-3 years, depending on the salon you choose to work in, you can make an extremely good living. It's unfortunate, that we're not always portrayed in the best light in terms of perception. You see this on television shows, you see this in the movies, and it's just the way it has been. And I think the Beauty Changes Lives Foundation, and both of you and I serve on that foundation, are trying to change the perception of our industry. It's a great place to work, as we all know. Everyone on this call today knows that it's a fun industry to work in. You can make a great living at it. And I think that's why we all do this, right? So yeah, I love giving back. My father asked me a long time ago when I first got into the business, what are you going to do to give back to an industry that has always been so good to our family? And I didn't know what he really meant at the time. But I do now. I've served on a lot of boards. I've served on a lot of committees, and giving back my time to an industry that's always been so good to us has been my way of giving back. So I enjoy doing that.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about supporting the industry and getting involved, but you do support the industry and get involved, and you're on the front line. How do you think we collectively can change this perception issue? Because I think it is a really big issue in terms of the type of people we attract in the industry and how a potential or future professional is met by parents and peers and all of that when they decide to go into cosmetology. How can we change that?
Well, I think it's all about developing relationships, right? I mean, we do a very good job of that. We have customers in our chair every single day that we get a chance to talk to. And many of those customers confide their lives in us, right? So I think it starts there. Many of those politicians that are detractors, for example, are also in our chairs. So how do we convince them as professionals that this is a great industry, that this is a great career opportunity for future professionals? And I think the key is in our hands. We have that opportunity each and every day, and we just have to do a much better job of that. And I think the foundation is working towards that. We're collaborating, as you know, with this Unite as One industry think tank, so that all facets of the industry, through their associations, are able to speak with one voice. And I think that's extremely important, that we are one voice, that we're not fractured, and that we speak the same thing, because that's what politicians tend to use against us, I think, is that when we're talking out of both sides of our mouth.
This you're teasing a topic that I've danced around a little bit with participants here, and this is this think tank that I haven't necessarily really gone public on it. And I know there's many people that are usually on this roundtable with us weekly, that are also part of it, such as Sam Burkott and Steve Reese. And we've, in like 1 minute before I turned you over to a voicemail you left me on June 8th that changed at least our universe quite a bit. Let's just talk about this Unite as One group, this think tank, because heads up for all of you participating down the road, we are going to ask for some of your input as we try to collect data to really prove that this really is a first choice career, not only from an earnings standpoint, from a quality of life. So Robbert, just real quick, this Unite as One group and the think tank and the purpose of it and all of that.
Well, this was really a brainchild of, not one individual, but certainly Phil Horvath, who many of you probably know, came up with this idea that we need to come together as an industry to change perceptions on how people look at us. And, so we were very fortunate to get every major association in our industry involved in this. And we broke out into 4 different subcommittees. I happen to chair one on perception. There's a committee on communications that Steve Reese chairs. There's a committee on cultural intelligence that Jan Arnold chairs. Speaking of cultural intelligence, I've been in meetings yesterday and today on the concept of DEIB in our own organization, both internally and externally. It's extremely close to my heart, with everything that happened last year. So we're trying much harder. I think we can do a better job. We must do a better job in terms of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. So these are all important topics that the Unite as One industry think tank is looking at. And again, speaking with one voice, I think we can get there.
Yeah, so we're in the process of also gathering some data, everybody. And so stay tuned on that. That's the area you can help, is to really create make sure the information is accurate that gets out there, because I see these studies on how much beauty professionals make. And I do believe that it's it doesn't tell the full story. It doesn't tell the full story in terms of earnings potential, average earnings for someone that's actually full-time. There's a lot of different variables to it. So, all right, Robbert, one of the things that I promised you is that you stepped away from some commitments that you already had today. So I'm going to need to set you free. But before we do that, we have an announcement that we're going to make in terms of our organizations, Qnity and Pivot Point. And it all started with a phone call. It was a voicemail on June 8th of 2020. I still have the voicemail. So it has to do with the subject of financial literacy. So I'll tee that one up for you, and you can describe a little bit what you saw the issue is and how we're going to solve the issue.
Well, it's interesting, Tom. It actually starts even a little before that, when I met your daughter, Erin, at the ABS show the year before. And, I really didn't know you very well at the time. And obviously, after I got to know what it was that you guys were doing with 2 to 10 and with Qnity, I thought, man, there's an opportunity here that I think we need to expose future professionals to. So that led to the phone call that I made and asked you if you would be interested in allowing to curate your financial literacy program for future professionals. And obviously, you've now developed a program called Money Matters. And financial literacy was a huge gap, I think, in our curriculum. We have always tried to create best-in-class content Much of that content obviously was around the physical skills themselves. But as many of you know, and I'm sure that's why your listeners are always on these calls with you every week, is that financial literacy is not necessarily something that's taught in school. And our industry is full of creative folks, right? They were not inclined to go to college or university. They were good with their hands. They wanted to do something fun, expressive, something creative. And spreadsheets was not one of those, right? And what interested me most with what you guys were doing is the fact that you've made financial literacy simple and creative, right? And that's really what Pivot Point has always tried to do. We're dealing with creative folks, so we tried to create a system where it was fun to learn whatever it was that you were in school studying at the time. So we couldn't be more excited, and we're launching this actually at CEA in a couple of weeks here. It's a virtual conference again this year for teachers, and I can't wait to see the reaction from our industry. I know we've already sold several thousand seats already, so there's a lot of interest, and I think school owners around the country are very excited about adding this to their curriculum.
Yeah, and I'm going to, after you leave us shortly, because I know you have another meeting, I'm also going to go into why it's important for salons and salon owners also. So if you could hear me, I'm clapping. That's April McDaniel. So I think there's going to be a ton of excitement about this, because here's what the more I think about it, Robert, is if you raising the tide, if you raise the tide with the students, the whole tide has to raise, And students, I've a lot of my career is working with, salons and profession. I haven't been involved in the schools. I haven't been involved in the students. And lately I've been involved in a lot of transition work too, but this is really an opportunity to reach somebody from the cradle to the grave as it relates to financial literacy and success. Why not start your career being empowered to have a very prosperous career, and then end your career with a beautiful transition into what's next in life, So Robert, we're going to, I'm going to turn this over to Aaron now. And I want to thank you for being involved today and stepping away. You and I are going to be back together in about an hour and a half, because when we do the school roundtable, we're going to talk about this too. But I want to thank you and celebrate our partnership and the work that we're going to do together. It's awesome. So, and your team is amazing. So shout out to you and your team and the way you run your company. So thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Real quick, I just want to clarify, one of your listeners mentioned a faux pas I just made in terms of the term I used, Money Matters, which is a competitor's product. And so it's called Money, actually, I believe, is the course. So my apologies for that little faux pas. But look forward to joining you at noon time. And again, greetings to everyone on the call today. And we couldn't be more excited. So talk to you soon.
Robert, welcome to being a member of the Brain Trust and your $1 million light bulb. And we're going to give you a virtual applause as you leave us. So thanks again, Robert.
Thanks, Tom. Thank you, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. All right. I'm going to call Aaron over to the mic here. And Aaron, I'm going to, well, good morning, Aaron. How are you?
Hello, good morning. Thanks for having me as a guest. I'm not often a guest on these roundtables. I'm usually a listener.
Well, Robert introduced you as my daughter. You also happen to be president of Qnity and also a partner in a new company called Qnity for Schools.
Yes.
And again, what I'm going to do here is we're actually going to start with a polling moment that Michelle will bring up. And that is for all of you. And so please help us indulge us by answering this question. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most important, how important do you think it is to teach money skills to the next generation of beauty professionals? And let's kind of see how it comes here. So Aaron, you personally have always been into this subject and always been dying to get to students. And you've seen this program, you also as a student. So this was really this was a huge, you were like dancing in the streets when I told you about the call from Robbert, right?
Well, this was always, this has never been a trend for us, right? This was always a part of our strategy to bring this to students. And so this just really fast tracked the development of this program because, with the onset of COVID and really, so many people that have been living paycheck to paycheck. This was really time to bring this, and to really not just to bring it to the current professionals, because everyone has challenges with money, right? We're all still learning, but to get it to students while they're in school. And so we are super excited to really be applying. Okay, so these are interesting results. So yeah, we're really excited to be applying Qnity's simple and visual methodology to really the topic of personal finance, and really, business finance for professionals that are in and studying a trade, so they can really be set up for success with money skills in their craft of choice, whether it, oh, go ahead, Tom.
Oh, no, keep going. Sorry.
Oh, well, you gave me the signal. That's your typical single, but yes, your signal, excuse me. But yes, so really, whether it's aesthetic, barber, nail, massage, whatever the craft of choice may be, hair, it's really setting them up for success to make great money, manage money, and also do more of what they love, right?
So let me give everybody a roadmap. So what we're going to do is, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this. We're just going to give you just a quick, there is an end game to this, guy. This isn't a commercial. This isn't about, it's really about something that we are tangibly able to do together to completely elevate the professional beauty industry, and also to make sure that you have better employees. And also at the end, I've got some ideas in how this could be a great recruitment idea for you as salon owners, and also some ways that you can get involved in this. Now, so sort of virtually raise your hand if you think this is vitally important to teach this next generation of professionals money-related skills. And I see hands going up. So Aaron's going to take us through just a bit of an overview. I'm going to get into some of the content. And so Aaron, I'll advance the slides for you. And do we have a video that we're going to play?
Yeah, I think, why don't you just go to the, well, yeah, I'll play that one now.
I'll let you play the video here.
So I'm going to play this directly from my computer. So hopefully just give me a quick cue if the volume's okay here. It's about 2 minutes, guys.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Camilla, a beauty professional here in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm so excited to be with you today to share the importance of money mindset and to tell you something I wish somebody told me when I was in school, sitting in your place. So there was a time from the outside looking in, it seemed like I was winning. My Instagram following was growing. I hit milestone after milestone, magazine interviews, Good Morning America. I joined Beyonce's Black is King, Braid Team, and then boom, 8 months on tour with Madonna. Now that's winning. But to be honest with you, the one place I was not winning was my pocket. Thing is, money never motivated me. So money came and money went. I had no relationship with money, so I had no plan. All these amazing things were happening, but I had nothing to show for it. I had no savings. And to take it a step further, it's almost like I didn't respect myself because I didn't respect my money. So even though I was winning, I was losing. Does that make sense? But that's not a problem I want you to have. Because now when I look back, I wish I had a better relationship with money and boundaries and a plan sooner. I thought because I operated from abundance, I did not need structure, but that's not true. Having structure and the right mindset around money is really what gives you flexibility and success. It's great to work with celebrities, but the thing is, a lot of people that do, they wouldn't sit here and be honest about the fact that they're probably struggling too. So please use my story as a reminder that you have to get your mind right and your money right. I'll leave you with this. You're going to have winning seasons, but you're also going to have slow seasons. So that's why it's important that no matter what season you're in, you have a strong foundation. Be disciplined and start something today that your future self will thank you for, because one day the money you save just might save you. I wish you the best of luck in the money program and nothing but success and abundance.
Yeah, it's such a great story. And Aaron, I'm going to go back to this, and that story we've heard again and again. So Aaron, let's take him through a brief overview. I'm going to comment a little bit about the topics we cover. So financial success. So I'll let you mention when I should advance the slide. Okay.
Perfect. So again, this is really about an initiative, as Robert spoke about, that we are doing for the industry at large, right? And we, almost everyone said 10 out of 10 in terms of importance of gaining money skills. And so the video that we just shared with you is actually featured throughout the program. We have some amazing thought leaders, like a couple people on this call here have done some money stories for us, really sharing their own money story, because we all have money stories, right? And so this program is designed to be super approachable. It's designed to be really honest and vulnerable and really addressing this problem. And we have so many statistics that have come in our market research that have we've become, even more privy to, which is only 25% of students and 20% of parents say they are prepared to address the financial challenges that await them after graduation, right? And so I would argue that these statistics feel a little bit high, right? I would actually think even less people feel truly prepared. And so the program that we've created, for those of you that are Qnity veterans and have been with us on the professional side, you will recognize a lot of methodology in this program. It's bringing some of Qnity's core, simple and visual tools and practices, but addressing them for an undergraduate student, really focused on financial literacy. So all things money. A few of the features, we have, it's an 8-module program. There's 5 lessons within each module throughout the program, designed to make this really real and relatable. Our money stories, like you just heard from the wonderful Camilla, and their stories from people of all different roles and all different backgrounds, really being honest with their own money story. Visual tools for many of you, the life map, the 9-grid, those are also part of this program to really allow it to be digestible and tangible. And then, various technology, like our wonderful partners our partners at Pivot Point provide the amazing technology to make tracking easy. And then quite a bit of options to make it super flexible for schools to integrate. So Tom, you can advance. I'll just quickly run through what's provided with schools, or for schools. Every student will get 2-year access. There'll be tools to support and drive admissions, which provides a huge advantage for the schools and for the industry to really address that by attending their school and their craft of choice. They will be able to get money education, and that's a huge selling point to parents and the support system to overcome those typical objections that many people face when going to cosmetology or aesthetic or similar programs. Visual resources. Tom, you can go ahead and go through this.
Yeah, I'm going to just make a quick comment. So for those of you, obviously you are not in the school business. So you're thinking, well, this is for schools. Why are we talking about it? Stay tuned. All right, Aaron.
And then learners will experience, actionable activities, exercises, visual tools, and we really want to empower them with confidence. So once they graduate, they will have been taken through really timeless money lessons, right? Simple practices on tax tips, understanding how to make money, understanding how to read a paycheck, understanding different savings vehicles and funds, and the importance of savings, and really making it practical and relating it to them. So it's super impactful. And everyone that I've talked to, and we've done quite a bit of market research on this. And I do want to say that many of you sitting in this program, you might think, I want to take this program, right? Anytime I talk to people, they're like, I want to take this too. We all can learn about money and remind ourselves, because for most people, it's not taught, unless you're like Tom and, is a CPA by training, right? Most people do not get financial education. And so we're not telling people they need to be experts. They don't need to be a CPA, but they do need to understand some basic principles so they can be set up for success with their money. Go ahead, Tom.
So here's the curriculum overview, and it's a lot of text on here. So I'm going to go through it really, really quick, and to give you a better idea of what we cover in this course. We start out with there's money in the middle. What we mean by that is when they're in school, learn your craft, be great at your craft, be super creative, have great soft skills, and also be good with your money. We also have people know what their why is. For many, like we say at the beginning, money may not be the most important reason, but what is your why? Is your why to be able to buy a home? Is it to be able to have kids? Is it to be able to get out of debt? Is it to be able to free? Everybody has their own why. And then there's a whole concept of money stories. Most of us have negative money stories just because of how the brain, is wired, and we're wired to remember more than negative. So how to change that? We also go through, now this is amazing. And one of the reasons now, as a former salon owner, I have to be honest with you, I'm loving this, because to have a student come out and really understand how they're going to make money, how they're going to, the different types of compensation, commission, hourly, and some type of hybrid. Also, the importance of getting clients and that the busy bus doesn't show up, and how you earn it. And then this is a really big one, entrepreneurship. We teach the difference between us being a solopreneur, entrepreneur, and an intrapreneur. And with very clear definitions, with a strong bias to coming out of school and finding a job at someone that has the structure and has the tax type of situation that it makes it easy for someone to learn and perfect their craft, and to have a long-term career. But we also need to educate on what it means to be independent, to be solo, and the pros and cons, drivers and dashboards. Then there's a whole segment on spending money that so many people wish they had. We had one student watch one of these videos. She said, I wish I took this last week, because last week I took out a loan on XYZ. If I would have known this, I would have done things differently. So a lot of this has to do with spending. We also introduce a P&L, a lot on debt and credit scores, and learning about loans and the cost of interest, defaults, all that kind of stuff. Money saved, the importance of developing this savings habit, how your money can work for you. A whole module on taxation. The average person, are you ready for this? The average person in their lifetime spends $525,000 on taxes. And most of us do not understand the difference between the types of taxes. And I would like to, by show of hands, how many of you believe that your team understands their paychecks? And do you think that that's something they immediately understand when they come into your business? So there's quite a bit on just different tax tips, and how even at a low earning level, tax decisions, how they impact you. A whole module on planning. We actually even teach how to do a basic spreadsheet.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Yep.
I know, from your perspective as a salon and a business owner, and just in your experience with transition planning and counseling so many clients and developing emerging leaders into the business, how much has that lack of understanding of compensation contributed to conflicts that can result in ending relationships, right? From a business perspective, I know that's been such a huge challenge.
At times catastrophic.
Mm-hmm.
At times, members of the team leaving just because they didn't understand compensation, they didn't understand their paycheck, and they didn't understand the reality of the salon owner. So it's a great question, Aaron. I've seen it be dramatic in terms of what a big barrier. So great question.
And just imagining, from that perspective, imagining if you had students that really understood that coming in, how much less conflict that would really provide, right?
Yeah, we teach basic habits week in, week out, how to build a basic budget. And there's activities, they have to do these things. And then finally, talking about money. And this is a really big one. Money in relationships is huge. And it also creates a tremendous amount of strain in relationships, marriages, partnerships. In certain cases, it might even prevent a partnership. It might prevent a marriage, or it might break up a marriage. So we hit that head on, talking about money and relationships. I love that part of the program. And then here's a big one, guys. This is dealing with money ethics and just ethics. I do not believe, and I've been wanting to do this for 2 decades, is to talk about ethics and what it means to sign an agreement, taking clients, really being honest with the employer. And it goes both ways. So what's a money agreement? When you should have an agreement reviewed by a lawyer, all that kind of stuff. And then there's a segment about ask. You have to ask for what you want, ask for help. If you run into a tax issue, if you run into a money issue, if you're really trying to plan your future, we give examples of resources and how to tap into free resources, et cetera. We get into how we turn this into action to create life change. And then finally, how it relates in an impact. So this program is really about impact and income. And this is the 3rd program we've done, the 3rd robust program we've done. We did Prosper, which is the Qnity Legacy program. It's around 10 years. We have our profit program, but this is 10 times anything we've ever done in terms of quality research. And frankly, we've been working our ass off on it, Aaron, right? Anyway, so why don't you talk about it a little bit more?
Yep. So I will, we'll keep this brief, and it's, if anyone's interested or just wants to talk to me about it or experience, some taste of it, you can let me know. But you can see this is a preview of the content. So the wonderful thing is we have a variety of different guides and educators that take students through this program. And really the intention behind this is that every student can see themselves in the educator, right? So we have people of all different backgrounds that and all different trades that really educate throughout this program through each module. It's highly simple, it's highly visual. You can go ahead and advance, Tom. And this is really the intention right here is, we honor, we have always tried to honor, and we need to honor as this industry, artistry and creativity, as Robbert said, and the craft, and recognizing that, Tom always says people just wanna, right? They just want to do hair, makeup, aesthetics, whatever their craft of choice may be. So giving them those skills that match and honor their art and heart is really the intent behind this program, and really recognizing that these lack of skills are part of the cause of poor industry perception, right? They're part of the reason for people leaving the industry. And it's also really impactful for schools, right? If they lose funding, and all the ripple effects that this lack of financial skills really creates, and recognizing that in many cases, those that enter this industry do come from an underserved market, right? As Robbert said, single mothers and many people that really need this training to make sure that they're fully set up for success. So we are really excited. Thank you for letting me spend some time on this program. And I have a couple more slides for you. Yeah, so there's, again, you'll recognize some of these tools for all of you Qnity veterans, and we are really, really excited. We've also already, we already have 10,000 students that have been pre-enrolled into this program. So at minimum, you guys are the first. This is the first time we're telling this to the market. So, we really wanted to come to the community first, so you wouldn't hear this, out in the other universe. But without even seeing a website, we've actually sold 10,000 seats for really forward-thinking brands such as, I don't know if Linnell's on here, but I want to call out Linnell, who's so committed to this industry. So thank you, Linnell, and some other confidential brands that will be bringing this to their students. So you can rest assured, salon owners, that with this program, hopefully we're helping to provide quality graduates and quality talent to make sure that they're really prepared and set up for success for a long, wonderful career in the beauty and wellness industry. So thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Erin. I appreciate it. So as Erin mentioned, so this is really our announcement to the universe. There'll be press releases and all that, but we really wanted to go through this. And thank you for allowing this to be the topic today. I do have some calls to action for participants. If you have an interest in being a money story, reach out to us. So perhaps you have some personal transformation that you want to share with students. Please reach out to Erin, raise your hand or whatever. And we've already got some really great money stories. And here's the opportunity for you. Imagine your money story being featured in this program, with the first round being 10,000 students. Do you think they're going to want to come work at your salon if you're a featured money story? So anyway, that is a call to action for you. If you've got a really cool money story, usually it's a great before and after, reach out to Erin, and they will be featured in our curriculum to supplement the content. Great way to get involved. Remember, we talked about Robbert getting involved. This is a way to get involved. The other thing is we are looking at making this program available to trainees. So new hires into your business as the next phase after students. So here's our plan, guys. First, schools. It's going live in a matter of weeks in schools. Then it's going to be available to salons, for your new hires, so that they are set up for success. And then in the future, this will also be available for your team. Now, let me tell you why this really matters. Number one, you're going to get better employees because they're going to have a better idea what it looks like in terms of earning money. They're part of the bargain. They're also going to understand the importance of the fact that nothing happens unless there's a client, and the importance of taking ownership over the things that are business building. You also will have less issues. Now, I have a question for you, okay? How many of you, besides me, have loaned members of your team money because they didn't have money, where you became the bank? How many of you maybe even have on your balance sheet or have an IOU for members of your team? So here's an opportunity for you no longer to be that fallback bank that sometimes you might run into with your team, because they're more educated, they make better decisions. also the fact that they'll understand what a profit and loss statement is, and the fact that most salons only make about 5% profit, and they have a little bit more synergy between the two parties here. Really big one, understanding paychecks. How great is it if they came into the business, they actually understood the paycheck and understood that the reason why their net pay isn't as high as it needs to be is because you're taking taxes out of their paycheck, which is required. We also talk about what it means to be an independent, not only additional taxes that are needed by an independent, but also the structure that's needed, legal form, all that kind of stuff that goes into being an independent that's not talked about. So they're in ethics. So they're going to come in having a better understanding of contracts, what it means to have an agreement. So I'm really excited about how this is going to benefit salons. Yep.
Can I jump in and just throw you a curveball really quick? If you had to say, I think I know what you're going to say, and this, looking at this program and what you think is the most important topic for the industry that they'll take from this program, what do you think, if you had to boil down one topic, what are you most excited for these students to learn?
Oh my God, Aaron.
I know I put you on the spot. I'm going off script, but this is what happens when you get me as the guest.
I think that they could raise the tide, not only for themselves, but the peers when they come in. I think it'll have a measurable effect on raising the level of quality in the industry. And I think people will be able to have much more prosperous life and less angst. So Aaron, spoiler alert, what is it? What did you think I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say either taxes, because of the conflicts that you've seen in our work in the professional space, that lack of understanding and reading a paycheck. Or I do think, because most of the individuals on this call do happen to be salon owners with staff, and we do take a stance on entrepreneurship, right? And the importance and the recommendation for that to be the best possible place for you to start your career in beauty and wellness. Do you want to expand on that?
Yes, as someone that's advised entrepreneurs for 30 years, 35 years, the reality is many people become entrepreneurs without any idea what it actually means to be an entrepreneur or to go independent as a freelancer. And that entrepreneurship is a pretty damn good gig. And one of the things we teach in the class is to really do the math when you're looking at working at a business as opposed to being an independent. Listen, we're not anti-independent, but we're about providing education. The reality is many people don't keep in mind the non-tangible benefits that go into working at a salon. The things that they maybe take it granted, such as booking appointments, as well as education, as well as having a team structure. And the structure is a really big piece. Most people are not ready when they get out of school to be an entrepreneur or to go solo. And there's a huge issue, and it's just not fair to let them do that without the education. All right. So entrepreneurship, I think, is a pretty damn good gig. So yes, Aaron, you got me on that
if
rant.
anyone agrees, please type in the chat. I'm curious if you agree with this. So thank you, Tom.
All right. So guys, I appreciate you listening to this, because we really felt that we wanted to introduce the money. I even got my green glasses and I got my green pocket square on here too, Aaron, as we get excited to launch it. So this also is one of the reasons why over the last year, many of you, I've been talking about this. Oh, we've had this project, and my gosh, it's been a lot of work, but it is awesome. We can't wait. So anyway, let's see what else we got. I've got a few other things for the community. We got 45 minutes after the hour. I'm dying to read the comments. I want to see who's on the call today. We have Anna. Hello, Anna. We have Ann Wheeler. Hi, Ann. April, I think you made a comment in there. Thank you for that. Hello, Ashley. Carolyn, nice to see you on here. We have Christine Griffith. Hi, Christine Griffith. I think you put a comment. Hello, Colleen and Ginger and James and Jana. Good morning. Hi, Joe and Karen and Carrie and Kelly. Hello, Con. Kip, nice to see you on there. Laura from our team's on here. We have Leah. Linda, Linnell. Hello, Linnell. How are you? I'm sure you have a lot to say about this, as well as Mark Pardo. We have Melanie, Melissa, Michelle, Nathan. Nathan is a CFO at Floyd's out in Denver. Nathan is going to be a guest. I believe he's a guest on here next week, so you'll get to meet Nathan soon. Trish, hi Trish, Roberto, Roman, Sam, and Terry. Sam, I think that you've been involved in some of the things that we've been working on with Robbert. If you feel like you've got anything to add, we can bring you live. Otherwise, we're not going to put you on the spot. And then, of course, we have my good friend Terry McKee. So, okay, it is 47 minutes after the hour. And what I'm going to do here is I've got a few other announcements here. And let's see here. We are going to, I've got to scroll through here pretty quick, guys. Pardon me with that. Okay, a plan for profits. We do have a guided version of this program starting. It is a group that is starting August 2nd. We are going to be adding new features to the profit curriculum, such as an updated P&L, different types of P&Ls, why to structure it certain ways. We're also going to have an executive summary that we're going to do. And we as a group are going to go through the profit course. If you're interested, reach out to us. Also 2 to 10. Many of you are members of 2 to 10. A reminder that if you received an invite, you have a window of time to enroll before we fill up. So please, if you want to go to 2 to 10, you qualify, you've been invited. You should have gotten an invite. Go ahead and enroll soon because we're going to start to open it up to a wider audience very soon. We've got some new guests that we haven't even announced yet. The dates are October 3rd through 5th. And you can go to our website and learn more about that. So don't forget about 2 to 10. Registration is getting full. There's also a link to book a room if you've signed up for 2 to 10. So we're also going to have the Emerging Leaders Program. Several of you have reached out saying you want to be part of the 35 and under group. Every year, they do an amazing job of dissecting some beauty industry issue and then creating great solutions around it as part of a competition. Recruitment was one year, and this year, I'm not quite sure what the topic is. We also have Qnity in action. For those of you that are looking for a great coach, you can book a coaching session if you like. You can reach out to Aaron or another member of our team. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining us today. And thanks for allowing us to unveil money for the very first time. This is the first time we've actually publicly talked about this in a group. Like I said, we'll do a press release. I realized it was a slightly different format today. Shout out to Aaron and Michelle and the entire team, because this has been a great project. Everybody's worked really hard and we're so proud of it. And we absolutely see how it could make a difference for you and your teams in your future. So thank you for listening in today. Let me see what else is going on in the chat. And the rest of you, if you feel like you want to hang up, you're welcome to, but let me see what type of comments we have in there. Thank you, Christine. Let's see what else we got. Sam, awesome. Thank you, Sam Mercado. Mark Gonzalez, just what our industry needs. And Wheeler agrees. Who else? Christine, a high level impact. Christine B. Linnell Lynch, excited for our students. Linnell was really influential in terms of creating this content. So shout out to Linnell. She served as an advisor to us and really was instrumental in a lot of decisions we made. So Linnell, thank you for your help. April, as a CPA, who you are, you're clapping loudly again. I love it. Ask always seeks knowledge. Okay. Most never even look at their paychecks. That is right, Tracy. Thank you, Michelle S. Thank you, Caroline B, Christine, Nathan Lawless. It's the single biggest issue we face with our stylists and barbers. They don't understand how much they make or how they make it. We have stylists and barbers making $100,000 a year in our shops, and they don't even realize it. Yeah, I totally relate with that. So, okay, guys, I will officially end this call. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next week. Nathan's going to join us as a guest. And we appreciate you joining us for week number 52. And if you are interested in getting involved in the money program, let us know. We're looking for stories. And then if it's something you want to look at your trainees in the future, we can talk about that too. So thanks again. Take care, everybody. This is the end of the session.